All right, so in this video, we're going to cover a long distance in West Point somewhere on the map, which I don't, Deep Hollow, there we go. And yeah, long distance, West Point. So, sorry I can't rotate the map, but we're going to just have to make do without that. So yeah, okay, number one, very white forest. You're on top of a massive hill, so you're just going to take a bearing and you're going to run straight. So this re-entry is going to be super obvious. So right once you pass it, you should see it on your right. And then as you're running towards the control, you just head straight into it and you should see it, honestly. If your bearing's any good, you're going to see it. If you're way down here, you should watch out, I guess, for these two. Then you can relocate off of any bare rock you see. Or if you're too high, you're literally on top of the hill. So as long as you have a good bearing, you're fine. And I think I saw basically everyone didn't mess that one up. So not the hardest control. Next one, same old. It's gonna be a straight. You're just gonna run straight. This I would honestly aim for. The two big features I see here are this bare rock. That should be fairly obvious, although this is extremely steep. Here, let's check. 5 meter contours, okay? So 5 meter contours, and we got like 3 right there, and almost 4, 5, 6, like very close. So this is gonna be wicked steep, and you're just gonna have to kind of pick your way through it, slow down a little bit, try not to break a leg. And I don't know if that's just a cliff, like bare rock and 5 contours sounds like a cliff to me, but you might be able to get down there. So, but I'd keep an eye out for it. Run on my compass, keep an eye out for this, but look more forward and head down and look for this ruin, and there should be 2 of them. So I guess don't confuse yourself with them, but look for the ruin and then continue straight. There's going to be a rock wall here, or a ruined rock wall, but you just keep a bearing, keep going. I think this is an area symbol, so it doesn't mean anything. And you're going to run through this rough patch, and then just keep your eye out for a bare rock. If there's no control, you just keep going, and it's this one. Short little bearing, you're going to cross the stream here. You need a good bearing. I don't know what else to say. If you run this way, then you're never going to find the control. If you run this way, you'll run into 3 of these X's. I don't know if they're anthills, or I don't think they're anthills. Probably like logs or tree stumps. Okay, and then we got number 4. So, all right, so for this one, this is a good leg actually. So we've got a giant hill here, kind of blocking us off, and we've got this index contour that we trace. It goes to about here. So if we contoured, you could run all the way along this trail and then here. But that's a lot of extra distance, and we don't want to do that. So we want to cut down the distance. So where it makes, so the only impassable features here are this lake thing. I don't know why it's filled with green, but it doesn't look like fun. So basically, we just want to stay somewhere either on the right or left. If we're on the right side, then there's more contours here, so I would not go there because you have to climb up and down more things. And on the left side, it's definitely more flat, so we can kind of see that. So if we want to cross on the left side, the question is, where are we going to cross? If we cross all the way here, we have to run down about 1, 2, 3, 4 contours. So if we climb over this hill and try staying as close to the line as possible, we're going to do an extra 3 contours of climb. So the optimal place to cross is right here. So right where this stream is coming out, because here we can basically there's no more climb afterwards coming into the control. So basically, I would just take a bearing all the way here, and then look for this line of cliffs and kind of just contour. You could even go right by 15, honestly, like it's not a big deal. And then right here, you're going to look for this kind of stream, like this fold in the contours, and you're going to pop right up into this stream. And then, or even a little bit earlier here, honestly, you could cut right at the edge of these cliffs, and then you can come right into here, hug the line as close as possible, hit this trail, and then between the 2 hills, take a bearing and go straight into the control. So that was long-winded, but that's how I would do that one. Number 5, we just go straight, look for this little spur, go under the spur, or on our right side, and just keep your bearing and you'll hit the cliff. And yeah, I mean, honestly, like orienteering in the forest is mostly about doing bearings. So, so practice your bearings. Um, yeah, so this hill's super obvious. So really just bearing, compass, compass, compass. Look for this hill on your left. I mean, you can read the trail and this, but these are quite linear. I'd try and staying to the left of this patch of green. It just takes a little bit extra if you're coming from the right side, but it's not a big deal as long as you know where you are. So I'd look for this, try and pick off that rock with your eyes at least, and then continue straight. Don't know how obvious this is, but just try and stay just on the right side. Hit this rock, slow down a bit, and if you can find this rock, you're golden because you just take a bearing. And also what you can do, I don't know from where you could see this, but if you could see this cliff, you know you're aiming for a smaller one just under it. So literally, I know I was doing a training with Jan on Nose Hill, which is a big flat yellow hill in Calgary. But basically, it was a compass training, and he took his bearing. He picked off a building in the distance he could see off the top of the hill, and then we just ran for, I don't know, it was like, well, not a kilometer, but 500 meters or so. And his line was perfect because he could see something in the distance. And this cliff, honestly, as soon as you can see it, if you could see it from here or here, I don't know how good the trees are, but if you could see it from there, you would have the most beautiful line in the world because you just run to the control. Basically, it's quite simple. And then here, okay, so this hash might be pretty bad. So I would honestly cut almost perpendicularly to it and then maybe hit this trail or just in the white and then to kind of peel off to hit this cliff, hit these two rocks, continue to this cliff, and then from here take a bearing. Basically, there's a hilltop right here. You'll know you're too far if there's a little like, if it kind of gets too flat, it goes a little bit down, and then you see this big hill behind it. So you kind of aim for just the top of this hill and stop before it flattens out, and then hit this, the pit. All right, here, take a bearing, read this, that's super obvious, read this cliff, that's super obvious, and then try and fall right into this reentrant. If you come right under this cliff, there's literally no way you can get into this reentrant, so you'll come into this one, and then hit this rock, and then continue straight up into this rock, and just check behind it, because that's probably where the control is. Next, you're going to come up, there's a spur here, so I'd look for this hill, maybe this X, I don't know how obvious the X's are, and then just take a bearing. Honestly, you could just do this one on a bearing because it's so short. Short legs are easy to do on bearings. Okay, so here we've got two options. Well, maybe three. Well, like two. So straight and a little bit from the right or left. Short and easy answer is left for me. I would go left because, well, there's a lot of climb here, and this is a really big hill. And there's no easy way to get around it from the right because this contour goes all the way out there, so you either have to climb it and then come back, and it's just a pain. If you go straight, you have to literally climb almost all the contours, which is also a pain. So if you go left, you can try finding the most optimal place to cut it to save climb. So basically, so we have to go at least up here because we can't avoid this one, but this is pretty relatively flat, so we can come all the way right up to here, somehow relatively straight. And then, so this is definitely much lower. So, I mean, you could also run all the way around here and then keep that flat, but you will take an extra 2 contours of climb. So the question is here, like this is fairly steep. You want to salvage as much distance and climb as you can. So what I would do personally is I'd come here, I'd climb just over the tip of this, and then I'd hug this as much as I can and try and get the straightest and try and get right back onto the line. So it might even be worth climbing all 3 of these contours right here so that you can save a little bit more of the distance. But also coming all the way out here and just contouring around here and then taking it straight's really good too. So I don't know how bad this hash is, but it should be fine. And for the first half, basically I just run straight here, look for that, hit this trail, follow the trail, and right from this hill, take off again. Try and hit that cliff. Otherwise, you see the giant hill, and you know you have to come from the left side, so it's not rocket science. And you just come around here, kind of make your way straight here. Look for that cliff, come under it, and then ba. Right at the end, I guess, slow down here. You can kind of read off these cliffs. Look for this one, but this should be obvious because this is going to be a cliff facing you and then a hill behind it. And you just need to get to the opposite side of that. So you can come right, left, or just pop over if it's not a big cliff. I don't know. All right, straight, giant hill to your left. Stay under it. Slow down at the end. Look for this little guy. If you can come, basically, I'd almost just aim for this little hill and then just peel off, just turn right at the end. So it should be pretty simple. Okay, so then keep this little guy on your right. Pop over this guy. Hit this trail. If you can find it, it's indistinct. And then just kind of head to the top of this hill, and there's a little hill here, hill there. Should be pretty fine. It looks chill. Okay, we got a hill here. We got to kind of, well, not slow down, but just go down here. Bearing, it's a short leg. You can just take a bearing. Okay, here we're going to go straight, so we take a bearing out. I would look for this. That's going to be super obvious. There's not, well, I don't know what these X's are, so, but this should be like some kind of little ruined wooden hut or something, I assume. So we shouldn't be too bad to find. And then you'll see this will be super obvious, and so will this hill. So you just want to kind of head straight. You can really eyeball this one off. And then you come under the cliffs around here. You're going to see this big knob thing popping out, and you're just going to come under it. Then there's going to be like 4 rocks here. You can just kind of take a bearing, kind of count those off. There's going to be a giant marsh, and you really want to be precise, I guess, when you come in. Because there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a big rock. So I'd honestly aim for the big rock, and then if, I don't know what this circle's on, so you got to read your control description, kind of check the rocks, kind of pick off which one is in the center and aim for that one, the center of the circle. Alrighty, another long leg. So you could go straight like that, but I would probably just aim left because, once again, the giant hill is in our way. And so I would go left and keep all of this green on you. This is super easy. You're going parallel. And then I'd just come straight up here. You're aiming for this edge tip thing. Now there's going to be this cliff right here kind of blocking off a lot of the contour. So you can just come under it or you can come over it. I don't care which one you choose, just one or the other. Probably going under it's a little, you'll lose about 10 meters of climb. But it might be a little bit simpler, you know, because you're also going to get on this plateau here. So straight, going to come under here, either over or under. Honestly, I don't know what I would do. You're going to take about 2 extra contours here. So I'd probably just go under. Maybe I'd go over if I could see it's super chill. And then you just pop down onto this plateau kind of thing because the 3 contours here are very spread apart. And I would try hitting this guy here. If you can hit this trail, you know exactly where you are, and you can just kind of huck down for it for, I don't know, like 500 or 250 meters or whatever. And then we just take a bearing, but you want to be kind of careful so that you don't overshoot it here. And there's no big obvious features, so this one's really kind of tricky. So honestly, I would go from about here, I'd hit these 2 cliffs, and then I'd start being very particular about my bearing. And careful, because you don't want to miss this one and end off, well, down by Rattlesnake Bog, because it sounds miserable over there. But basically, I'd aim for this cliff, and then I would keep a very, very, very good bearing and kind of head off over here and look for these rocks. So if you notice here, there's a rock there, and then there's 2 rocks here and another rock there. So there's not, and there's this one. So if you can hit this rock and then make your way there, that would be good. But basically, it's honestly just a bearing. If you do it right, you're going to end up where you want to be. If you do it wrong, then you're going to end up somewhere down here. And maybe don't run to the bottom because you know you need to be about, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 contours above the bottom. So just contour until you get there. And also, if you do somehow overshoot it and end up here, just I pray that you see this creek, because otherwise you know, lose like 6 minutes looking around in there, wondering where you went wrong in life. All right, and then here we're gonna go probably just straight down to the trail, and then we're gonna hook along the trail here. And so now there's two options. You can go kind of right and get this entrance, or you can go more left and straight. So personally, I'll tell you right now, I would go left and straight. I don't know how bad these cut lines are. Maybe they're like slower than the forest. I know sometimes if there's long grass, it's not very good. Sometimes it's, you know, super good. So it depends all on the floor. But I would probably just go straight here. I know exactly where I am here. I count off 1, 2 little hills, and then here I bend off right on this little plateau thing on a bearing, and then you're going to just cross this, see this cliff, slow down a little, and also just keep this hill just on your right, slow down right into the control, and you're going to hit it. Now, if you come from the right side, you can come like this, and then bend off right here, and you just huck it until you hit this trail, and then you don't take the left one, you take the right one, and you just keep going, keep going, keep going, and then about halfway in this clearing, you just pop off to it. And it's definitely easier navigationally from the right, but I think going left would be a little bit faster. Although you do have a trail for a good portion of it on the right. But again, it depends on how fast the woods are. If they're super slow, I would prefer taking trails. Okay, this one just bearing, literally nothing to do. There's way too many cliffs and stuff. You just bearing. Here you pop off, go straight, hit it. Yeah, and we're done. Okay, so now I'm not gonna play. I mean, we can load. Let's see. Can we load? Where is everybody? I don't know where everybody is. I was gonna load just probably the winner or the person with the fastest time. It's animations here. Except I can't see any of them. We're gonna look at those, but I mean, it's not working, so you know, we might just have to live without it. I shall refresh the page. Yeah, it looks bad, guys. Looks like that's gonna be it for this video. Yeah, take my word for it. What I told you were definitely the best route choices. No, I'm just joking. If you want to, you can comment or something and dispute some of the route choices. Would have been nice to see what the other runners are doing, but I don't know why they're not popping up here. See y'all in the next video.